Fairy Tale Tarot is something we do here on the Katie Weaver Show right around the time of the full moon every month. So we're a couple of days out from the full moon, so here we are. So every month we pull a card from the Fairy Tale Tarot, we read the story from the fairy tale book, and we evaluate it. So I already pulled the card, and the question I was asking is what do we need to know through the next full moon cycle? So, and of course, it's a collective reading. So, I'm going to read the story and we'll move on from there. So, first, I'll show you the card. It's the Two of Wands. You can see it is a hollowed out tree trunk, and there are two mice. Let's see. There's one of the mice is holding what looks like a wand or a stick and a sunflower. The male mouse has a walking stick, cane thing. He has on a top hat. There's some kind of there's something at his feet, some black. I'm not really sure what that is. I'm sure we'll get it in the author interpretation. There's mushrooms. There's a blossoming pot. Looks like it has a rose in it. There is a face in the side of the tree as well. You guys can see that. So that's what the card looks like. I probably missed some symbolism. Oh, there are some acorns and some poppies. Always a lot of symbolism on the cards. Some of it I usually miss, but okay. So let's take a look. So the story is City Mouse, Country Mouse. This is a Romanian tale. The key words are seeing past illusions and choices. All righty. Once upon a time, there was a mouse who invited her old friend from the city to come out to the country. The country mouse spent the entire day in preparation for the visit. She scrubbed her treehouse from top to bottom and picked the choicest nasturtiums, wheat stalks, and roots for dinner. When the city mouse arrived, he was bewildered. My, this is quite a long way out. How do you manage with so few conveniences at your disposal? He asked. The country mouse took the city mouse's fine hat and coat and showed him around. The country mouse was proud to escort her friend through the natural beauty of her surroundings. But the city mouse began to complain about the dullness of country life as he reflected on the grandness of the city. This is all rather peaceful, but I'm sure you would enjoy yourself much more in the exciting city, the mouse postured. They returned indoors, and the city mouse was seated at a table. It was set simply with the country mouse's finest place settings made from found objects. In the city mouse went on, food is served on the finest china imported from far reaches of the world. The country mouse brought out platters of freshly picked vegetables, but instead of graciously receiving the offerings, the city mouse picked at his plate and grimaced with each bite. You must try the gourmet foods from the city. They are far tastier than anything you could possibly gather here, snorted the city mouse. I already want to pinch him. The country mouse, was beginning to get annoyed with her friend's ungracious comparisons, but decided it was easier to listen and sip her herbal tea than create a rift in their friendship. The city mouse finally came up with an idea. I think you need to be exposed to a little luxury, he suggested enthusiastically. Why don't you accompany me back to my city home, where you can experience all of the wonderful delights that I speak of? The country mouse was intrigued by the thought of an exciting holiday to a place unknown to her. So the next morning, the two set upon their journey. At first, the country mouse was entranced by the buzzing excitement. There was noise in every corner, and delectable smells drifted from the various vendors that lined the streets. There were grand buildings that seemed to reach for the sky, and lovely decorations that adorned store windows. After some sightseeing, the city mouse suggested that they retreat to his lavish home. They entered an opulent house that had pillars, stained glass windows, and beautiful tapestries of all kinds hanging from the walls. The city mouse seated his friend on a little Parisian rug in the corner of a room. Then City Mouse scurried up to a banquet table and began retrieving morsels of luxurious leftovers. He brought various goodies to the rug and gathered a mouth-watering feast. They were about to dive in to the meal when the door suddenly swung open. The city mouse instructed the country mouse to run and hide. They shivered with fear as large footsteps came dangerously close to their little bodies, but they held their breaths until the coast was clear. The city mouse resumed his pompous airs and continued as though nothing had happened. But after the second intrusion, the country mouse turned to her friend and thanked him for his hospitality before bidding him farewell. I cannot stay here a minute longer, my dear, she said. As she was making her exit, she told the city mouse, I would much rather live a peaceful, simple life in the country than an exciting, dangerous one in the city. All right, of symbols and meaning. The country mouse is resourceful. She wears an apron, symbolic of hard work. Miss the apron. An orange shawl, a color suggesting industry and fruitfulness. Her basket is associated with offerings and hospitality. Her appearance juxtaposes the gray coat wearing city slicker mouse. He wears a top hat associated with lofty pretensions. His black bag is suggestive of secrets and restraint. The yellow daisy is an offering of friendship. The oak tree is sturdy and strong, symbolic of a well-grounded life. The faces within the tree are aspects of the collective unconsciousness. The three acorns represent fecundity. The dead leaves carpet the ground with insulation. The mushrooms suggest the fairy realm. The crystal-topped wand provides clarity and truth. So the author says what may seem like a good idea initially may turn out to be a bad experience. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. Be careful how you direct your energies and make thoughtful choices. Okay, so how does this apply to us? I think in various ways, but I'm looking at it from the state of how does this affect us for the next couple of weeks? I feel like one big warning we can take from that is to be really careful about your choices, right? Be careful about who you're spending your time with, whose energy or who you're giving your energy to. Realize the grass may not always be greener. I think that's important too. Um, if you are thinking right now about changing jobs or moving or making a drastic change, I would just be absolutely certain that you're not pushing something too hard that maybe isn't meant to be. I would say that during this 2-week cycle that this is a good time to really evaluate where you are and what you have and what you need to thrive and to be happy. But don't force anything too hard. I feel like that may be the mistake, right? Sometimes the path of least resistance really is the best one. And I think in this instance, we might really find that. So again, be very aware of who's getting your energy, how much time you're willing to put into that or that situation. In general, where your time is going, and just be careful about your choices. Be very thoughtful. Don't do anything too fast. This is a week, the next 2 weeks, I could definitely see some buyer's remorse. So be sure that you really want what you're getting. Be sure that you're really giving yourself ample time to make good decisions and don't get swayed by new paint.